What if I told you that there were reality codes that you can use to break the matrix? What if I told you that this matrix was escapable through consciousness? Tonight, we're going to have a great talk. We're going to talk about the matrix and how these codes can allow you to navigate this matrix in a way that can allow you to break free and become the best version of yourself. Today, I am Billy Carson, aka Forbidden Knowledge. Welcome, everyone. Make sure you click that like button and share this video. All right. And we'll give everyone a second to hop in here and we'll talk about this topic tonight. It's going to be a great talk. We're going to go deep tonight. We're going to be talking about these codes, the reality codes that can help you break the matrix in 2026. All right. So if you are ready to learn, transform, and gain this knowledge, make sure you sit tight, listen up, and also have a great announcement towards the end of this video. Okay, a great announcement. So it's going to be good. I like these kind of talks, like these kind of podcasts, because, sometimes you can, I'll go on a rant or whatever and talk about a topic, but these types of podcasts, I feel like they really impact people in a positive way and give them the ability to work on themselves. And at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about. It's all about self-improvement, okay? It's all about understanding where we are and getting to the next level, consciously and also spiritually. And so I'm really excited about it. I'm looking forward to sharing a very nice tidbit of good news towards the end of this podcast. So make sure you sit tight, don't leave, all right? I want you to know it took me a lifetime to learn these lessons, studying ancient knowledge, decoding ancient history, and building $1 million company. It taught me quite a few things. It taught me 11 truths that can shift how your 2026 begins to unfold. And we're going to talk about that tonight, okay? We're not talking hype. We're talking about mechanics. We're talking about usable action steps that you can apply right now, okay? Let's see who's in the live chat tonight. Let's check out the live chat. Looking forward to talking to y'all tonight. If you're new here for the first time, make sure you click the like button, share the video, and also please subscribe, like, and subscribe, all right? We have Stay Kinetic. We have, what we got over here? Guadalupe, Antoinette, Lily, Oswald. Okay, Admiral, what's going on, Admiral? They call me Four Souls, Tian. All right, Julie, Mark. Okay, cool. Everybody's falling in line. We're live tonight on several platforms, 3 different YouTube accounts. We are live on LinkedIn, X, and I think 4 Facebook pages, okay? So we got a lot going on tonight. Again, we're gonna be giving out the codes tonight, the codes that can allow you to break this matrix in 2026. Don't miss out on this one. And also make sure you sit tight for the end, because at the end, like I said, we're gonna have a very nice surprise for everyone at the end of this video. Okay, so sit tight and stay tuned for that. All right, so now we've gotten a lot of that out the way, the intro and everything else. I want to so we already got a quick donation that came in here. I appreciate that. Let me just emphasize that one real quick. Thank you, Chuck. Let me find Chuck's donation real quick, put it up on the screen. All right, here we go. Appreciate you, Chuck. Thanks a lot. Okay. And we're going to play the intro. We're going to roll the intro real quick and give everyone a few more seconds to hop on and get in here for this talk tonight on tonight's podcast. And like I said, don't forget, stay till the very end, because I do have a very special announcement for you at the end of this video, okay? Let me just see here. Oh, I see where we are here. Okay, boom, boom. All right. Changing some of the color patterns around. And stay tuned.
Forbidden knowledge. This is logged in on November 25th, 2023, Eastern Standard Time. Sensitive material has been breached and it is now in front of the public. This is very sensitive documentation and the world will be in total chaos if leaked, and it is now leaked. All of it. Not one document, all of it. Place of exploitation, forbidden knowledge television. This must be stopped.
Okay, welcome back. So we're going to get into it tonight. Like I said earlier, we're going to be talking about the 11 codes needed to break reality and break this matrix in 2026. Bring it into your favor. Learn how to bend the matrix to your will. Okay? We're going to bend the matrix to your will. And this isn't some kind of weird hype or some type of a woo-woo dream. It's a reality. We know that due to the observer effect, we do have a real effect on future outcomes within our reality tunnel, on the things that we consciously observe and interact with. And that's based on real science in the double slit experiment. I'm not going to go deeply into the double slit experiment tonight, but just know that your reality, a lot of what's happening is based on your conscious observation and your actions. We're dealing with the interaction between you and the waves of potential. And we're also dealing with your conscious thought backed by your actions, which creates or activates the principle of cause and effect, which allows you to break down reality and create an outcome based on the actions you've taken prior to the event happening. So we have a certain level of control over ourselves and our reality, our conscious thoughts, and the way that we perceive the world, okay? And we have to understand that people, we are all programmable. Most people think that they are just being themselves, when that's not even closer to being the truth. Most people are actually running on code. You think that it's you making the decisions. You think that it's you perceiving this reality and responding to things in a way that are based on your own assumptions and research and everything else. But in most cases, it's not. In most cases, we're responding based on someone else's forced identity on us, someone else's dominant frequency. Somebody says to you, what religion are you? And you say, I am X religion, whatever religion that is. And in most cases, not in all, but in most cases, that's only because that person's family line has been in that particular religion for generation after generation after generation. Not particularly because that individual person selected that. Somebody may say to you, well, what's your name? And you give your name. My name is John Doe. Well, is it really John Doe? Did you select that name yourself? Or is that something that was also given to you, right? Is that a name that was given to you? And if it was given to you, and what does the name actually even mean? What power does that name hold, right? And positive or negative? And how have you wielded that power? How have you accepted that power? How have you alchemically transformed that power? Or are you just going by the name itself without any individual research behind the name to see how it is or could be impacting you cymatically just by even speaking the name itself? And somebody says, well, I'm looking at you and I could tell that you are Caucasian or African American or Asian or whatever. Really? You think that's true? You now are looking at me and you're trying to figure out if I'm a different part within the human race simply because my skin can reflect or absorb photons in a different way. Interesting. So all these are ideologies, dogma, and belief systems that were forced on us They were forced on us. And we spend our whole lives defending those identities, not ever really truly being who we truly are at our core, always defending and regurgitating a dominant frequency that was never ours to begin with. And then we sit back and wonder why we don't know who we are, or why we can't figure out who we are, or why I can't find my passion, and why is all this happening? And well, a lot of it's because we just need to find out who we truly are so we can access the codes within our own vibration. When you get into your dominant frequency and your dominant vibration, things will begin to change for you in a way that you can never see possible. When I really sat down and got back into my own frequency, my own vibration, the true core of who I really am, everything just began to unfold like the petals of a flower just opening up right before me. And so when you do this, you'll see so many things starting to happen. If you want different outcomes, then you're gonna have to make different decisions and different actions. You do not need a new year, new paradigm program. What you need to see things a different way, because you have to start realizing that you have been operating on someone else's code and frequency. You've been accessing other people's codes. You do not see reality, you're seeing a filter. Your mind is selecting data, it's deleting data, it's filling in the gaps, and then calling it truth. That's what's happening. And that is why two people can live in the same city and experience two completely different worlds. If you change the filter, reality changes. When you are, a child and let's say you have a sibling, right? You and your sibling have the same parents in most cases, okay? Hopefully you do. Either way, that parent is going to see each one of you in a completely different way. And even though both of you had that one same parent or same parents, you will look at them and you will see them in a completely different way. You will see your parent as one way, your mother as one way, and your father as another way, and your sibling will see them as a completely different way than you see them. We all see others differently than others see that person, and people see us completely differently than others see us as well. So you can have kids. Let's say you have 3 kids. Well, that means for me, I would be 3 different types of dads to 3 different kids living under the same roof. I'm just trying to give you a metaphor to understand you could really be, operating differently or perceived differently or seeing things differently, from different perspectives. It's just a reality. It's just the way life works. And so, it's really interesting, because the more we look into this, we begin to realize that the universe runs on laws, not opinions. These are universal basic laws that are in existence, and they're immutable. You can't change them. The ancients understood cause and effect. They understood cycles. They understood order. They realized that we will be held accountable for our actions. I just did a huge podcast the other day about the red and blue Kachina, the Hopi prophecy, and I tied it in with 3i Atlas. And the biggest message that came out of all of it was that we are living in a cyclical reality in this 3rd dimension, and that civilizations do rise and fall, and that whether we head into the 5th age or not depends on the principle of cause and effect. It depends on how we take responsibility for our choices. And can we handle the consequences of those choices? And when you begin to realize that, you see that it's you affecting you, and the universe is not against you. It's responding to what you repeatedly embody. This is why it's important to identify and obtain your own frequency. Understand who you are at your core, not what someone forced on you. So you can master the laws, and then life will stop feeling random. You'll feel like you have a certain level of somewhat of control. And then you'll see that your attention is beginning to create. Your imagination is beginning to create new realities. And where your attention goes, that's where life goes. That's where the frequency flows. Attention is like an energy assignment. If your attention is on drama, gossip, fear, outrage, you're going to feed that timeline. It's going to show up on your algorithm on your social media account. It'll show up on your TikTok popular page. It'll show up on your Instagram popular page, because the attention is going to go where the energy flows. If your attention is on skill, health, wealth, peace, purpose, then you're going to feed the timeline that you actually want, the one that's going to help you improve and become the best version of yourself. And once you begin to get into that mindset, then you realize that frequency is your signature. It's just like signing off on a check or signing off on a contract. You're signing off vibrationally. You do not manifest what you want. You're going to manifest what you consent with, what you allow. And to understand this, you have to begin to realize that, as a whole, humanity, we've been going through a lot of situations on this planet, a lot of situations with these poly-tricksters and governments and the military and all these crazy laws and all this oppression and suppression and everything else that's been going on. But at the end of the day, if you understood what I was just talking about, you begin to realize it's us that has allowed this to happen to us, that we are responsible for what's happening to us, not them. Us as the masses, there's 8 billion of us. 8 billion people are being run and ran over by a handful of pedophiles. We have a handful of pedophiles controlling 8 billion people. Think about that for a minute. 8 billion people are being controlled by, literally, you can count on your fingers, a handful of pedophiles are running this whole world. What you can see, hear, touch, think, say, where you can go, where you can't go, where you become an illegal alien or not an illegal alien, when they abduct you and send you back to some other area. And that's all being done because why? We are now reaping the effect and the outcome or the consequences of our choices. That's why. That's why it's happening. So at the end of the day, we have to look in the mirror and realize that the reality that's going on the outside is only because we've allowed it. We've allowed it through our collusion through silence, our collusion through participation, and we're all guilty of it, including myself. We keep fueling the war machine. We keep allowing them to take our money and do what they want with it instead of us telling them what we want them to do with it. We keep participating in their sick, sadistic system, and they keep taking and taking and taking because they're takers and we're givers. And we keep hoping for a better world instead of becoming an active, energetic force in changing the world. But they know that they've got us completely divided and that we'll spend most of our time fighting each other and also hating our own selves along the way instead of coming together and loving ourselves and loving one another and organizing to overthrow the oligarchs so they can stop taking advantage of our children. You see? I'm just giving the real facts. I'm going to give you I'm giving you the raw facts. You know, let me check out this live chat. Just giving you the raw facts. So you can say, that you can say the word abundance. You can say you believe in prosperity. You can say all these things. But while you're saying them, your nervous system is broadcasting survival mode. They know that. You can do affirmations and proclaim to be this great conscious person and, say grand risings and all this other Hotep and all these other, And at the end of the day, if your frequency that you're generating is in survival mode, then the words can lie. But guess what? Your signal, your dominant frequency, it can't lie. That's why lie detectors work. Lie detectors work because you can say one thing out of your mouth, but the machine is going to detect your core frequency and it's going to tell the truth behind what you speak. Where were you the night of such and such? I was at home in bed sleeping. The machine going crazy. Nah, he wasn't home sleeping. He was out in the street somewhere. This is important because in 2026, your job is to learn how to obtain coherence because your environment is programming you every single day. Your space, your phone, your circle, your inputs, none of it's neutral. It's all programming code. We're talking about clutter, notifications, noise. All this chaos keeps you reactive. It keeps you ready to snap. The system is designed to tap into your past traumas and trigger you nonstop so that you're living in a triggered state. If you want a higher reality, you have to build a higher environment. You have to see things from a higher perspective. You have to vibrate on a higher frequency. Because basically, you will not rise by willpower. I mean, willpower is a great thing. It can get you through a lot. But in order to get through this spiritual battle that we're going through on this planet, you are going to need a little bit more than willpower. You're going to need a system in place. You're going to need to create new habits. You're going to have to create different perspectives of reality on the inner world within yourself, and that will then reflect and change your outer world situation. This is where it changes, because you do not rise by willpower alone. You're going to rise by design. You have to actually architect the transformation. That's why in my song, Affirmations by Forbidden Knowledge, my #1 song, and you play that song on Apple Music or Spotify, wherever you listen to, in that song, I say, I am the architect of my life. I am the architect of my life, because it's all about learning how to rise by design. How do I create a blueprint for the rollout of the person that I'm looking to become, that I will transform into? Okay? It's not that I'm changing who I am, it's that I'm transforming alchemically, becoming the best version of myself. And when you begin to do that, you develop skills that are utilizing modern alchemy. In the ancient times, they called it the initiation. And they would have adept initiates where these spiritual leaders or these mystics would handpick individual people. And they would, because they saw something special in them, and they would bring them in as initiates into the ancient mysteries. Not the Egyptian mysteries, that came much later. The original name for the schools were the mystery schools. And this was where sacred information was then taught and passed down at the highest level. In the modern world, we call it skill acquisition. You can become an apprentice and you can gain these skills, right? And then you have to learn how to turn those skills into intention, and intention then turns into results. The skills you develop turn into ideas, and then the side effect of you activating or utilizing those skills through an energy exchange will turn into money in your bank account. The skills also create vision, and that vision then manifests into real life. This is why they had the adept initiates back in the day. Okay? So, as I say, this is, this is powerful information, real powerful information. And if you understand what I'm talking about, you'll learn how to build your skill stack until you cannot be ignored, until the universe has to respond and send you exactly what you need, until the world around you begins to shift and transform into the one that you manifest, that you desire, based on your dominant frequency, not someone else's. And then you begin to realize that, wow, money is just a system, not a wish. Stop hoping, begging, and wishing for abundance. It's already here. If you do not understand money, you will always feel like the system is bullying you. Oh, the man is holding me back, and they're hiring all the immigrants, and I can't find a job. If you can't find a job, that means it's your time. That means it's your time to make a job. Create your own opportunity, and then hire yourself. Start seeing things in a different way. Start perceiving reality in a different way, and understand that money moves to value. So how can I add value to this world? What can I do to bring value? What can I do that I passionately love to do and bring value within that passion? If you can do that, money will show up in your bank account as a side effect of that energy exchange. Money multiplies through assets. So if you want to hold on to it more, you have to put the money to work. Every dollar that comes in, a certain percentage of them should be your employees, and you put them to work. They go to work through assets that help them begin to create families. Yeah, money is a living thing. It can create a family, and then it can actually reproduce. They can have babies. Those babies are more money. You let the money work for itself and reproduce on its own. You got to stop focusing on trying to make every individual dollar. And when you do that, things are going to change, because money grows through systems. So stop chasing money. Stop chasing the bag. Start realizing that you are the bag. You yourself are the bag. It's all about tapping into your gifts. But you can only do that once you find out who you truly are at your core, what you're passionate about, how to access those passions, how to utilize those passions as the codes that crack open this matrix. And you can do that in 2026. Follow your passion. What is the secret to making money? The secret to making money is to find a need and fill it. Find a need and fill it. That's how you make money. So people that are successfully and consistently generating income, companies and so forth, they're not trying to figure out how many dollars they can get their hands on. What they're focusing on is how many people can they provide their service to? How many people can they provide their widget or their product to? How many people can they provide their art to? How can I find out what people or businesses out there need something that I particularly am passionate about doing or creating or servicing? And if I can connect the dots between the business or the person that needs a service or a widget or product that I can provide, and I can then bring that to them and exchange it with them, their happiness is the exchange, their pleasure and joy for getting what they wanted or needed. The energetic side effect becomes an instrument, and that instrument is money in my bank account. More zeros and ones. That's how it works. So you're not chasing the bag anymore, because you finally consciously woke up and realized you were the bag the whole damn time. Yeah. You see? That's what it's all about. A lot of people in the live chat tonight. We got about 1,150 people in here so far. All right. Kush Manu. The only code to break the matrix is gematria. Okay, that's a great opinion. It's a great opinion. And one thing that I've learned along the way is there are so many opportunities that come our way that we don't see them as opportunities. Sometimes we tap back into that old mind, that old vibration of someone else, and they told us something about this particular thing or that particular thing, and then we shun it or whatever. We're not really fully exploring it for our own selves. Become a person that explores, that questions, that researches, and find your passions. By doing this, you do not escape the matrix by hoping, but you escape it by learning the rules and making new moves. And also another thing that's going to help you out in 2026, realizing that overstimulation will destroy your entire future timeline. We're in the age of information, and there is so much abundant information, it can absolutely overwhelm you. So what I'm starting to find out as I've been building the Forbidden Knowledge Academy mentoring program is most people are not lazy. Most people are not lazy. They're just overloaded. Literally overloaded. There's just too much going on. And it's got them with analysis paralysis. They have too many tabs open, too many inputs, too many unfinished loops. And that's doing nothing but draining your life force and fragments of your focus. You're too fractalized. You're all over the place. You can't even get one thing done at a high level. So you have to learn how to protect your mind like it's a secret technology. Protect it. Understand your energy. Where are your energy leaks? And then stop chasing side quests, because those are just distractions. Distraction is the system's favorite weapon to keep you locked in a scarcity mindset, to keep you completely leaking from every corner where you can't focus your energy in one particular area to achieve a high level of success. You can do anything you want, but you can't do everything. Something I've learned myself. I can literally do just about anything. You name it, I'm telling you, I can probably do it. Will I do it at the highest level? Maybe not. But if I focus on it enough, I can become pretty damn good. I've proven that to myself and the world. I've done a lot. But I can't do everything. Not with 24 hours in a 7 weeks, a 7-day week. Not with that. Now, if we had a 80-hour day with a 20-day week, maybe, I might have enough time. But you really have to learn how to pick out your mission. Commit to that mission and eliminate all the noise, right? Just hyper focus. Become super hyper focused on what really matters. Because obsessed focus is not extreme. It is what literally separates timelines. You can be headed down a timeline of distraction and self-sabotage and lack of perseverance and procrastination simply because you have overstimulation. Or you can head down a timeline of execution, a timeline where you literally have lived at your highest level and achieved things at the highest level simply because you became hyper-focused and you didn't you didn't wear too many hats. There weren't too many cooks in the kitchen. And so that gives you a better future, a stronger future, where the probability field is pretty much controlled by your conscious decisions and your actions, where your future is not fixed. It's a field of probabilities that are panning out simply because you understand how to hyper-focus and collapse the right one into existence. And understand that your habits, your identity, even your environment, even the way that you repeat your daily activities, all collapse that field into a lived reality. So if you want 2026 to be different, Don't just set goals. You need to become a person who naturally lives on that timeline. Become the person that becomes your dominant vibration and frequency, catapulting you into the future on that timeline and allowing the best benefits, the best outcomes, the best problem-solving capabilities to stream directly toward you so that you can live your best life and become the best version of yourself.